This film was taken in 1966. I went to New Mexico with Grady and Jack Swanner, and I'll do the best I can telling you just where we're at and what we're doing. Okay, let her roll. This is old Sumner Ranch. It's been there for years and years. I worked there when I was a kid, and here we are at our old home place. This was the first evening we got over there. The house was gone. This is the old home place where Dad filed and put a four-room house. There's the old windmill. There's what's left of the sheds and things. Everything almost gone. This is the yard. I was telling some big something. This is the corrals. Used to be the saddle house. That's the foundation to the house. That's what's left of the saddle house there. Grady, he's hunting some relic. I was telling them some big stories. There's an old stove. I don't know whether that's the one we used to use or not, but anyhow, that's one. There's a Model T ranch thing. Dad had an old Model T we had to work on there once in a while. I was telling them some big story. Old corrals is about tore down. Used to be lots of people lived in that country, but the big cattlemen's got it all now. That's the tank we built years ago when I was a kid, and we all had our initials cut in it, but been bunged up so I couldn't find many. I was going to see what is inside that well house. That's where we used to keep our milk cool. Here's where we was looking for a pair of spurs. I buried them here. I stole a pair one time and got cold shouldered, scared. I went and hid them by a post. And that's when I learned that what you stole never did do you no good. Because I never did get those spurs. And we didn't find them either. I thought I knew right where I buried them, but I didn't. That was years ago when I was a kid. Here we are eating supper. Still at the old home place. That's more scenes there at the old home place. Hey Jack, he had to have a little coffee. Here we are over at the graveyard. That's my uncle's tombstone there. He was a woodman of the world. And I got my brothers buried there and a few kinfolk. And they take care of the graveyard pretty good. It's somebody all the time clean. Somebody all the time clean. That's local I was showing old Grady. So maybe he might want a dose of it. There's a cattle there on that range where the graveyard is, close to the graveyard. It used to be the Buckhannon outfit. There's part of the, used to be a house there. Jack, he's hunting arrowheads or just anything he can find. Greatest found horseshoes, one thing or another. There's our M.E.'s daddy had a claim, and that's his old fireplace there. Used to have a rock house there, and it's about all tore down now. They had a two-room house there close to it when they lived their claim out. There's old Lep's place. I worked there a lot. And this is an old fort that they used to... No, that's Uncle Ed's place again. Getting ahead of himself. I wasn't doing suit Jack, he was chunking me. That was when Roosevelt was running for. Vote for Roosevelt on old Model T tags we found there at Uncle Ed's house. Well, this is the old fort. We used to, the stagecoach from Fort Sumner to Santa Rosa used to stay there. After they disbanded it for Ford, of course. There's a bird, a dove, and an egg. This courthouse at Santa Rosa. We tried to get in, but they had it locked. They don't use that part of the courthouse anymore. They got another new house there at the side of it that they use. Now this is the guy I was raised with. He still lives there. He's my old buddy, Raymond Avon. He can tell some tall ones as well as I can. He wasn't talking about nothing but horses. Last time I seen him in 1923, till then. There's his wife. She was bringing some rocks out there to show Jack and Grady. They was interested in rocks, and we was interested in nothing but horses. Now there, this is Alamogordo Lake, down north of Fort Sumner. We stayed all night there. We got a lot of picnic tables and things there. They got a cafe and a saloon where you can get plenty to drink. There comes some skiers. There's those nozzles that comes out to hold, keep it from getting too full. A bunch of them. About 1910, a family was traveling in a covered wagon between Clovis and Fort Sumner. One of their children died, so there wasn't no cemetery close by, so they just buried near the road. And the folks that lived on a claim nearby promised to take care of the grave and not let anyone move the child from its grave. Not many years ago, New Mexico Highway Department improved the road and paved it, and they was going to move the grave because it was in the wrong place. But the lady was still living that made that promise. She went to the governor of New Mexico, and the governor had the highway department to put a small crook in the road, and the child's grave was fenced in, and the highway department takes care of the grave today. having the cattle drive out there at Cuervo, selling cattle to ship, go to those pens that I was talking about. Why, of course, Dad and the boys all went. We did. Uh, so they were having a dance after they shipped out. One night they finished shipping out. They had a dance to cap it all off, and uh, Vaden was the only one that got to stay to the dance. Of course, the rest of them was too young or too old, and so they after the dance, my brother Vaden and another boy, they headed for home, and they was riding along. This horse, this other boy was riding was hurting him. He was rough riding, so he wanted my brother to arrest him. So they started to change when my brother started to get on this horse while he reared up and fell backwards, and the saddle horn hit my brother in the stomach and killed him. And they sent for the doctor, and he come in a buggy. And the guy that went after him was a motorcycle rider, and he rode the motorcycle and opened the gates for this doctor while he come to, but he was too late. He couldn't save my brother. He died.